Hello everybody, welcome to another stream. How are we doing? Oh, my days, the camera. We'll have that little bit of light bleeding, that's okay. Yeah, so last stream we managed to get the sort of encoder and decoder maintenance system. I forgot what we called it now. Anyway, the basic idea is you have this encode file where you declare all your types, and then you have this database file where it keeps a record of all the types you've ever declared. So you basically edit the ENC file. We need to set the languages. Set lang C. There we go. So it's a C-like language, right? It's just a little bit different to C. It supports enum structures, things called tables where you can have optional fields, and also arrays which can be declared, their length can be variable and declared by a field. And also packing stuff down into like bits, a little syntax to do that. So the idea is the user, when they want to make a change to the system or to any structure, they can just make a change and the system will tell them if they can do that or not. So if I take away a field here, then I run the code generator, it's going to be like, the ent enc structure is missing its field weapon ID. If you'd like to change it, you need to put it in dev mode. Obviously, we did see it have the dev thing there, but this is what we're going to be working on today, is this dev mode thing where we can get it to increment versions in the background. But if we go to the database file, it's basically the same file, but it's the same file, but it's more explicit. So I've basically printed out the stuff that I've parsed. So see here as cow's got -1, mouse has got 78, where all the implicit stuff becomes explicit. And if you remove fields from tables, it puts like a hash remove on it. So yeah, notice how the weapon ID is still here, so it's able to check that, oh, it's missing. Because struts cannot change unless you up the version, whereas tables can. So we delete the weapon ID from the table, give it a rerun. We reload the database file, and now it's put hash removes on here. So we know that it does exist for this version, but our current structure doesn't have it. So yeah, it just marks as hash removed, which we'll be using we'll be using this data when we do the code generation. Right, so let's go to the to-do page. So let me just zoom in a bit. So we need to be able to put enum structures and tables into a dev mode. We need to be able to store different versions of an enum structure or a table in the database file. And sometimes we'll want to upgrade from version 0 to 1, for instance. Other times we won't want to upgrade, and we would just want it to be a breaking change. So we don't need any upgrade functions to be code generated, right? Or the stubs for them at least. So this is all we need to do today. I think there might be some more little things. This is the basic idea. So yeah, let's get started on that one. Let's go over to the code generator. And also welcome everybody. I hope everyone's having a good start to your work week. So we might start on something a bit easy. This one we kind of bumped into end of last stream, was parsing multiple directives in the same place. So let's go and find where we parse directives. So we change that to a while loop. And then while we grab that token, parse up to the next hash, and then we can do the checking there like that. That's good. Right, so we have to do that in the same, similar in different places. So this is structure fields, this one. So hex all removed. We'll need to move this. Cool. Next one. While. So this one will be enums. Enums have the hash directives as well. And then enum values. No, this is back to the structure again. Enum values don't have these yet. Cool, so I think we've done that. We can test it out quick. So we go to the encoder file where we declare our stuff. If we put another hash in there, call it test, it's going to fail. Unrecognized directive test. Cool. Nice. So I'm glad we fixed that tiny problem there. So this dev mode thing, right? So the way I envision it is you make a you want to make a change to the structure, so you put it into a dev mode. And this will up the internal version number, but it will be flagged in dev mode. So whenever we serialize any data, we'll actually be serializing. So say if you're serializing that to a text file, right? And it's called, so it'd be called like, maybe we call it like mesh.cson, right? It's a mesh defined in the C like JSON thing we have. When you have it in dev mode, it's gonna be like dev, it'll encode it as like .dev dash, what would it do it as? So you put in the version number, and then you'll put in a hash, and then some random hash of the structure itself, right? And that's what, so when we save that file, we can test while in dev mode actually saving out a file like that, and then like when we try and load a file in again, it will load in this hashed one, right? But if one doesn't exist with the same hash, it loads from the last it loads with the one without this sort of .dev suffix on it. And what that allows us to do is actually test the upgrading side of things, right? Because you'll be able to load from that old file, and you'll be able to test your upgrading code in dev mode, right? And then when you've like tested all that out, you delete all your dev serialization files that you've generated to test the upgrading, and then you can remove the hash dev from here, and then that will solidify the upgrade, the version 2 or something, whatever it is. So that's the way I want the versioning system to work. So you just have to remember not to check in with hash dev, basically. Hey Alex, how you doing? Welcome. Hope you're having a good start to your work week. So it should be pretty sweet. So there's also a thing where we want to probably like handle branching in the future if we ever work with other people on this. So what I'm going to do is serialize out the branch name into the database file. So that way, if I end up having to work with people and branching becomes an absolute pain in the butt, with this system. We already have the branch names in there, and we should be able to. I have thought about it through in the past, and I concluded that it is possible to do it with this system. But I can't remember the exact details without just, going all over the place. So basically, I'm pretty sure it's possible. I've thought about it like a few times. So yeah, we're going to code out the branch name, and in the database file, we'll have explicit versions. So it'll be like hash v0, like that. Maybe it won't be v0, maybe it'll be v bracket. Right, you parse up to the bracket or something. Something like that. Version 0. And then, there'll be a version 1 like this. Right. So we'll have support for when we read this database file, we've got to be able to parse up stuff with the same name, but identify that it is a different version, right? Cool. And then we also need to be able to say, do we want to upgrade or not upgrade? I don't know if there's any others really. So maybe you say dev upgrade and then dev no upgrade. Maybe that's what we do. Because it's not, I was thinking in the past maybe you could have some like auto upgrading system maybe. But manually declaring the upgrade functions is probably okay. So maybe dev upgrade, dev no upgrade, or dev dev no upgrade or dev upgrade. Yeah, so we might not have hash dev, we'll have hash dev and dev upgrade and no upgrade, something like that. We'll maybe make it an enum, so maybe we can add more in the future. And it shouldn't break anything. So, dev mode, here we come. So we'll make an enum for dev mode. And this way we can right, dev mode upgrade. So generate upgrade functions. And then no upgrade, do not generate upgrade functions. So that'll be 0 and 1. So yeah. And we'll have a bunch of different, we'll have a count just in case we iterate, or we'll have string lookup tables for it. So right, so we'll put this dev mode enum where there's that sort of like is dev mode thing. So in the enum type when we've parsed it, in the structure type, which also tables are a structure type strut. Just because if they're basically the same. And that should be it. So they're the only types that you actually declare. So if we look for is dev mode, we're now going to change how this works a little. So we have dev mode or dev upgrade, and that will set dev mode to dev mode upgrade. So this one is for the structure. And then we'll copy these 2 lines, and voila. Success. So the next thing we need to look out for is every time we've done a hash dev, right? Okay. We should replace that with hang on a minute. Right, so this one is when we do as hints, isn't it? Yeah. See, I need to put it. And if you put dev mode upgrade and no upgrade in the same thing, that's a bit of a... Or maybe you do it with brackets. You know what? Maybe do the bracket syntax. So, all right, change my mind. So, we'll support the bracket syntax, right? So we'll go, we expect a open bracket here. And if we don't have that, there's a big problemo, right? Found incomplete hash dev directive. Expected to complete the hash dev directive. So you do that hash upgrade. Right, or I guess I can do another new line with another hint. Do you want to say no upgrade, or should we say like discard or breaking? Yeah, no upgrade is just fine. We can always change it. Not a big deal. Yeah, so after you've done that, we parse up to the close bracket thing. And it's an identifier. Well, parse up to the space, new line tab, something like that. And we'll just say if the string is equal to upgrade. So this sort of like, yeah, we should probably put this in a function because we're doing it for but the error messages would be slightly different. We'll just copy paste it. It's only in 2 places. Yes, if you want upgrade, you'll set it to s dev mode upgrade, and then no upgrade for now. Oh, nice. Then if you get something else, it's like whoopsie, there's me being completely silly. Right. So in here we would like to take, so unrecognized there we go. Unrecognized dev mode. Blah. Then I put that 2 hints. Thank you, Voodoo. Yeah, just blending in with the background. Yeah, my wife's mum got it for me when she went to Kenya on holiday. Pretty nice. How are you doing? string.size, string.data. Bear in mind you have to cast the size to an int because printf. Cool, so I guess we've just opted for the whole copy paste thing. Wait a minute. There we go. We've opted for the maybe we'll skip some white space and new lines. It's a bit of a bug if you did that anyway, but we'll just make it scrunched up. That's okay. So I think that'll be all right. Now we take this and find where we do dev again, dev. Cool. So that's for the enum1 corrected there. So let's take it for a spin. Give it a run. Oh, there's no S, is there? Yeah, so it's done 2 hints. Upgrade or not upgrade. Incomplete. Very nice. So let's just test that out. So I'll go to the encoder file. We've got a whole bunch of dev on it now. So let's get rid of this dev thing. Except for the structure, maybe? I don't know. Right, okay. So dev upgrade. Let's misspell upgrade just so we can get the error message. Yeah, upgrade. So if I spell it as upgrade, it works fine. Wait, did I mess up my encode file now? Right, it hasn't encoded out the dev mode thing into the database file yet. Wait, has it? No, it hasn't yet. That's good. So upgrade works fine. No upgrade, that work all right? Right, seems to work okay. What about if I remove that? And it complains, right? Good. Cool. Right, so now we've got that being parsed up. Now the next thing to do is sort out the system such that we can store versions and store versions of structures in a nice way. Hey, Toggle. That's all the pretending to know CEO can do. I'm off for bed ski. Cheers. No worries, Toggle. Good to see you. Just lurking at you. But yeah. Have a good night's sleep. Have a good night's sleep, so I'll see you in a future one. Great. I haven't played SAT Collision lately, and honestly, I kind of expect it to be hard, but turns out it's quite easy. Yeah, it's the stuff you do in GCSE at school. Well, GCSE is in English, when England. So like secondary school, or if you're in America, what do they call it? Anyway, your second level of school, where you start doing stuff. That sounds really like my own stuff for games. That's awesome. And what are you working on exactly, if you don't mind? I know it's in the title, but I'm not sure if I fully understand. Oh, you don't have SAT in Poland? Oh, interesting. Yeah, so we learned it at school. We learned like trigonometry and stuff for like standard maths. And you know, everyone's doing it just like, well, you know, when am I ever going to use this? And there's me like later on, like trying to do my own physics and then remembering that we did SAT at school. But yeah, separation axis theorem. It's quite cool. Yeah. It was just the basic idea of sat. It wasn't actually doing like vectors though. And doing like it was more of like doing sat based on the fact that you have a brain and have photographic memory, I guess. So like if you have two shapes, I don't know. Yeah, I forgot how sat works now. You want to find the axis in which you can do the separation check. So yes, you take this axis and you do the, yeah, I don't know. It's been a while. I'm too tired for maths right now. But yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, it wasn't actually using vectors. It was like talking about like, yeah, maybe on the line and stuff, but just learning the idea, the concept of separation axis theorem. Um, so what is hash? Okay. Oh, what am I doing? So we're adding versioning to the encoder system. So this encoder system is going to remember in the database file. It's going to have a history of every single structure that you've ever put in, even if you've removed it. And it's going to store past versions in here as well, so we can code generate, type information, and code generate. Yeah, we code generate. What can we do? Why do I need the past versions again? I guess so you can actually just view it and see what you had in the past. That's probably just the number one purpose. But yeah, we will have. Oh no, that's the reason why. We need the structures to be declared. So when we have an upgrade script which runs, say if you have a version 0 of an entity and you're a version 5, it will go and upgrade the version through the entities through the different versions, and be able to call all of the right functions and everything. So we're going to be code generating all of the code that does like taking an entity structure or whatever and serializing that out to a text-based file or a binary-based file. We've already got serializers for those, but it's going to code generate actually serializing and deserializing those structures manually. It's going to do it for file-based stuff, networking, and GPU packing. Yeah, sure way, that person. Ask away. What does hash dev do? So hash dev just basically says we're gonna be like, if I remove a field, it'll be like, you can't remove a field from a structure, as that's gonna be you can't remove a field from a structure because that's going to be like, if I run it now. So the field is missing. If you want to make a change, you need to put it into dev mode. And then dev mode is going to increment the version internally. And then you'll be able to make all the changes you want. And then when you're done, you remove the dev mode thing. And then it will solidify the fact that you've upgraded the version. And then you can't change it anymore until you want to. Yeah. So that's the basic idea. Maybe we'll allow you to put it back into dev mode. Will we? Why would we do that? If you put it back into dev mode and yeah. No, we won't allow you to do it, but maybe there'll be ways to do it. If you put a Proxmox on a laptop, can use it to make a normal VM or I have no idea about Proxmox or VMs, really. Maybe someone else in the chat can chime up, but I have no ideas. So in this encoder, we need to have a way of storing the versions So effectively, right, I think we're just going to link list it, right, because it seems like the easiest way to do it. So I think we'll always have the latest version at the top, and we'll just I think what we'll do I think we'll have a strut type star previous version and a next version. Right. They're all zero initialized, which is great. So it'll be an enum type. Okay. So when we're parsing that dev mode thing, I think actually we should have a way of, we should probably have a function which parses brackets and returns the string. Parse arg, right? We'll call that. So if we know it's going to have a single arg, we'll just parse it out. So you just pass in the text reader, I think. And then that way, if the string doesn't have anything, we can just return. Yeah, it just makes this code, because when we do a similar sort of code, I think. So we take this, plop it in there, and we'll return string. Okay, so if we don't get one of those, we'll just return a null string. That will indicate that there's been an error. Right, so that'd be the function basically. And then we can just call parse arg, so we'll go and search for the dev thing again. So I think if we do a core string parse arg, pass an address to the reader. Yep. Then I think, so we can say if else if the string data is null. All right, maybe if you have string data, and there'll be an else. And that'll be expected with an argument. Okay, so that way we can get rid of this code and this code down here, and this thing just becomes a lot more simplified. So we can now copy paste it and do another one for version, and this will only be allowed in the database files. So I think it's just going to be called V. And then we'll do the brackets and things like that. So this will then allow us to parse a number. So yeah, so we want to be able to turn that into a string to right, we've got to use the string to UL, I guess. It doesn't really matter. So this would get us back our, I guess we do ULL, be U64, I guess. So we do a string dot data. I think we need to do stuff with the end pointer, because we want to know that the end pointer is, yes, do end pointer and base 10. So long, that's always a U64. Right, so there's the version number. And char star end pointer. So now we've got to read the docs, I think, but when you parse this, if it's something like if error no equals e range. Yeah, I always forget these things. So if it returns u long max, then sets it to e range. And then you want to check to make sure that end pointer has parsed the whole string that you've said. So you need to say if version equal u long max and error no equal e range, or the difference between end pointer and string data is not equal to string size. That's right. Yeah, we're good. So this, yeah. So this means there's an error. So there's two different types of errors. One is that there's an out of range value, and the other one means you've got some other characters in there other than a version, sorry, other than just a number. So what you need to do is say something like unrecognized version argument. Or we just say version argument must be a number. Must be an integer. Must be a positive integer. But then it will support doing a negate. No, it won't. Yeah, it will. Yeah, they could probably put... But yeah, this is not user-facing, so that's okay. Anyway, V0, V1. Right. So here we store in the strut. Put a version number in there. eth2 should be good enough. So we'll say s version. Right. It's pretty cool. So the thing is we would have parsed the identifier, and then we check to see if it exists. Where is that? We put it in some the type table. Where's that? Type table insert. This is it. So what we should do is we should also pass in a version, and in that way the code should be able to handle, you know, if one already exists in there, then it'll be able to traverse through it and put the right thing in, I think. Yes, there's only an insert done for struts and enums separately. So I guess you try and do a find, and then if not, you insert. Yeah, I think we'll do that. So we also need to say like, is only supported inside is database. Version is only supported inside database. Long Man commercials. I've never heard of that. What's a country that was those in? Those adverts. Well, you said commercials, so I'm imagining US. Oh, yeah. So basically, if you have 2 pointers, if you take a difference between 2 pointers, it gives you back a pointer diff t, which is assigned integer. So pointer diff t typically is assigned 64 number. So when you do a end take start, so I know this is going to be positive because I'm ensuring that end is greater than start. So therefore it gives me the count, the number of elements, right? If these were both into like a bigger, pointing to a bigger integer, they'll give me the number of elements, right? Not the number of bytes, the number of elements. So yeah, that's a pretty cool technique. Yes, so we need that is database thing, right? If we're not in the database file, then we error. So you can't explicitly say what version something's in inside the encoder file. So I think this type table thing, we're going to parse all the stuff, and then here, so we'll have the version now. So I think what we'd like to do is say, if you are in the database file, right? So if you're in the database file, it's going to be a little bit more complicated because we're going to have to sort of merge versions and things. Whereas if you're not in the database file, you just insert, I think. So we do a type, we get a type, so this is the found type. Type table, find. So you look for the ident. So you then ensure that it is, and then you do a duplicate identifier or something. Found duplicate, I guess. Nah, we'll just do it like this. So if found type is not equal, sorry, the kind. So it's not equal to the type kind. So if you've got like a structure or a table or an enum with the same name, we're just going to put that error out, right? Now this is where the magic happens. So you get the other structure type. The other S. Gen dots. It's in the type table, isn't it? Type table, structures, then in the found type, we've found some kind of type with strut index. And then we're gonna, so with this, we just need to say, well, if your version, if this version that we've found is less than us, then we will be inserted here, basically, right? So yeah. So that would mean found type dot structure index is equal S, which is this pointer to the structure, type table struts.data, right? So that'll get us the, so we're overwriting that, and the structure that we have now, is it a previous version? Yes, the previous version field needs to point back to the other S, like that. Whereas if we are an earlier version that has been found, what we need to do is traverse the previous versions until you reach while S previous version it's a Japanese commercial you should watch on YouTube. It's pretty interesting. Okay. So each strut you place U8 last field. No? No? I'm not sure if I follow. Right, so if so we want to put the structure of the biggest version at the top of that type table map thing. So you always get the one with the newest version out here. So we're not the biggest version. So go to the we can have duplicate versions as well that solve that problem. So we say if I guess it's a bit funny, doesn't it? If the version's equal, then you go to the previous version, you kind of repeat the same sort of logic. So I think really you traverse down. We'll call this one root other s. And I think we can do a while loop, right? Maybe it's a do while, but sod's law, I'm going to change it. Every time I use a do while, it never works. So yeah, no. I ain't gonna do that. See, I never use these things. If other s previous version I think you say other s equal other s previous version, and then you continue. Right, so you get this. If we're greater than that version, we insert ourselves in. So you'd say if it has a next pointer, has a next version pointer, you go to the next version and make that one point back to you. So you'll insert yourself in between them. Go to the next version and say its previous version is me. So make my next version of this structure that we're reading point to the other s next version. So it makes the next one point back to me. And then we need to make sure that we change the other s next version to be me. Cool, so I think that's a successful insert. So we break here, right? So this is when we actually do the insert. This found type thing needs to come last. So we need to say if other s is equal to the root other s, it means we were the latest version. So we update the thing in the hash table, that type thing in the hash table to point to this structure. Right, so we're kind of getting there with the logic. We just revisit. So we look in the hash table for something with a structure with this identifier. If it returns, we do this code. If it doesn't return, we just do an insert. You know, I could have done a find or insert thing, but it doesn't matter, it's just a code generator. Right, if not, we're doing insert. Jobs are good. So why am I saying enum index here? It's really called strut, but it will work. So we've found the type and it already exists. We perform the versioning. You know, traverse the linked list of versions. So insert into version linked list. Latest version is always in the hash table, is always the entry in the hash table. Cool. So we get out this root other structure. We traverse other structure. If other structure version is less than structure version, we are now the new latest version, right? But you know, we could have traversed down, which you'll see later, so not really the latest version. So we've got to handle the case even if we traverse down the previous version tree. Or the previous version list. So if it has a next version, which it could do, we go to the next version and make its previous version point back to us, since we're inserting into its place. Then if we say our next version is equal to the other structure's next version, and our previous version is other structure, then other structure's next version is us. Then we break. Good. If they are equal, it is an error. We should never reach this. Unless there's a corrupted file, which could just be corrected because it's text. So I'm going to say like, duplicate structures with the same version. In database file. Well, that should never happen. But we'll write it out anyway. Cool. And then if it goes, it should never be greater, right? Because the way this logic works. So it should be able to just go. So if there's a previous version, then link back to the previous version. And then I guess, do we break? I guess I could have done a do while loop. And then just done some assignment operator in there, but oh well, this is cleaner. Well, this is a different way of doing it. So, hey, why is this light not on? Boom. Right. So, what's the other failure case? So the other failure case is you keep going down and you reach the end. And there is no previous version, right? But you're less than. So because you come here, so maybe I could have done a do while loop. Because you have reached here, what you need to do is actually just become the previous version. So other s previous version equals me. And then I will link, my next version will link to the other structure, since I am less than since I must be less than. Right. So that's now inserted. And then we should also make sure to set other s to. Nah, we'll just move this if statement to inside here. So if other s is root s, then also set that one as well. Cool, so that's the version inserting code. It's a little bit hairy, to be honest. You know, and we've got to copy it for the enum type too, right? Because there's two different linked lists, one for structures, one for enums. But it's all right. Just a copy paste away. So we'll copy paste it. Yeah, it would kind of be nice if you can share some of this stuff, but you know. Right, we just got to change out strut for. Righty, I just wanted to keep just there. So we've got to replace start of word boundary s with e. Cool. We also want to parse. Oh, sorry. We also want to fix other s to be other e for enum, and then we'll look for the word strut. Strut enum. Right, looking good. There's no version in the enum type yet. No biggie. Cool. Right, so kind of a bit hairy, but that's all right. So now we've got the code that does the parsing. We still need to actually work on printing the version out to the database file, right? Because the database file, if you remember, is this more explicit version of the encode file, and it keeps all the history. So we're going to want it to do #v and then put the version out into there. So let's go ahead and find that code. Is called save encode.db. Right, it's pretty simple. It just goes over all the type information that we've collected and just prints it out. It's a fraction of the size of the parsing code. Yeah. So we put out table, so table or all that, right? So realistically, we probably want to do something like well, we just split it. No, these might keep the SIs. Structure identifier. Right, it's just context-aware printing. So this is where we'll stick the we'll do a different kind of printing, print f, and we'll chuck out the version number. Well, actually, let's just extend this, right? Hash v $sv for version, right? That'd be interesting. We can do that. It takes 2 seconds. Hopefully we've got enough. Right, we haven't used it. Structure. So we just traverse over every character. We find a dollar, just parse the next 2 characters. It's quite simple and quite powerful. So we need to make a string. In this case, unless, so you've already got v for enum value. Maybe we could do dv for, I ain't gonna do it. It's got to be in the structure. Right, so I guess what we'll do then is do a separate block. It's a bit annoying, but that's okay. Oh, I keep doing it. I want to delete it. Yep. Cool. And then another case for v. So v would then mean s or f print f into f version number gen format strut version. We also need to print out all the different versions as well. Cool. Hey Valvus, how's it going? Yeah, it's just a custom thing. So it's context-aware printing. So I've got these in the global data structure. I've got the current format structure, the current format structure field, format enum, and enum value, right? So anywhere where I want to do where I don't have to keep passing in arguments to printf, I can do this sort of like $EI for enum identifier, $EU for enum type, or something like that. Enum underlying type. But just before, I have to make sure that I set the global variable correctly, and then I don't have to pass in any parameters. So it's super powerful, and just allows me to easily generate code, really. So we're going to be using it heavily for the code gen, but we're also using it for other things as well, like error messages, and so super nice. Yeah, so I'm going to want to do the same thing for the enum, I think. Yep. So that will be enum. Nice. So going back to the save Encoder database file, we can do the same thing again where we just copy that line and paste it here. And that will put... See, I think the directives come... Oh, let me double check that. Yeah, identify them that, then directives. Yeah, good. So if you remember, we added a linked list of versions. Whenever you, well, we're going over all the types in the type table. So actually, we're going to get all the versions. That'd be cool. So I guess the next question is, what about merging when we do that type table merge, where we merge from the latest one to the database one? So in type table merge, we do a lookup based on the identifier. This will get you the latest version. Oh, no, it won't. Oh, what is this doing? Go over all the source enums. Oh yeah, look in the destination, so in the database type table. Yep, so this will get you the latest version, and then you're trying to merge with the latest version. That makes sense. So I think there's that dev mode thing that we've got to be aware about. Like, so yeah, I think this is where we'll do the logic where we'll solidify the version or something like this. So there'll be a bit of logic wherever we do it. We've copied it before. This is checks all the fields to make sure. Yeah. Right, so I guess before we do any of this, this is the next section. So this is where we'll do the actual handle the version, going into dev mode, out of dev mode, and stuff like that. Yeah, because if you go into dev mode, these errors won't report. So let's just try and run it and see what happens. For crying out loud, I pressed some magical buttons and it thought I was CPP. Right, we've got a seg fault. Let's have a gander. Right. Oh, I put an S in an enum one. Whoops. SV. Enum version. Cool, so it's saving that out. So let's go to that database file. Give it a reload. Right, so we've got version numbers in there now. So let's see if the encoder generator actually parses it up fine. Unrecognized directive. What? Oh, did we not handle the version one in? So this one's in structure, but it's not in enum. Oh, I didn't copy paste all of it. Whoops. Right, we've got a much simplified thing now. That parse arg thing, so it's heavily simplified. So we'll copy it to the enum one. Yeah, there could have been some code sharing, but yeah. Bit too fast there, right? Not that one. Cool. So we ought to correct some of these. What's up with this hash dev thing? It was wrong. Right, so there's quite a lot of these. Actually, we can keep those. We've just got to change the word strut for enum. And then just change the contents. Cool. Yeah, these ones down here didn't get changed, actually. Let's look for that hash dev thing again. See, we've not changed some of those. Upgrade. Upgrade. This will force a version upgrade. Oh, I don't know. Hey, Linux guides, welcome. Thank you for the raid, sir. Appreciate it. How are you doing? How did the stream go? Welcome, raiders. We're currently making a custom encoder and decoder code generator for our C code base. So we've got this sort of C-like description format where we're parsing it, and we've got like a little database file which looks very similar. It's going to support versioning and making code in the C language which will parse and encode and decode these data structures into text, binary, and in-memory packed formats. Yeah, thank you for the raid, appreciate it, and welcome raiders. Any questions, feel free to ask away. So we're just making a code generator in C, which we run. It's about 2,000 lines at the moment. We're working on the versioning side of things right now, where we're making the database store individual versions of these structures. It stores the old ones, and you have ways of adding new versions to the database as well. So yeah, we're just getting it parsed right now. So I think that's right. Right, we've still got an unrecognized directive. Did I? Right, unrecognized directive. Because it didn't look for the open bracket, I think. That's it. There we go. So that's parsed it all correctly. That's pretty nice. So now, I guess we can try the... we could try and mess around with the database file for a moment and just test the code out a bit. So if I were to duplicate this and then run it, it should error. Oh crap, what did it do? Let's reload. Alright, it hasn't changed, good. So if I were to add another one, we'll call it version 1. Save it. Very cool, have fun. Thank you, thank you. How did your stream go? What was you working on? So if I run this, it works still. Yeah, that's fine. So if I reload it, it should have shuffled them around the other way. Maybe? No, it wouldn't have done that. Right, okay, it's good. So I have 2 version 0s, that should error. Duplicate strut version 0 in the database file. Nice. you can parse -1s, right? That's okay, I guess. You shouldn't be editing this manually. What else? So if we put a version 1 there and then a version 2 up top, that's still paused. Oh, wait a minute. Right, now let's reload. Right, that's still paused it okay and then wrote it back out. That's fine. That's good. I hope it did it right. We could double check, right, by putting the breakpoint in the code. So let's just do that quickly and then we'll do the versioning stuff where we'll be able to do this manually. Sorry, we'll be able to do this automatically through the encode file by putting it into dev mode and saying upgrade or no upgrade. So there's a kind of really lovely looking versioning code here. If we stick a breakpoint in here, we'll be able to have a... Right. So we have a version 2 that gets parsed first, then you'll be parsing a version 0. Right, so let's run it. So you'll notice that S version is going to be 0, but other S is version 2. So it's not that one, it's not the same. And then there's no previous version at the moment. So we're going to insert ourselves here. So the previous version becomes S and then the... Oh, that's wrong. The S next version should be other S. Right, I've already found a bug. Which means that's also present inside the enum1. Cool. Let's take that for another spin. That was good. Right, so that's linked up apparently. Now let's continue. So we've hit another one. This should be the current structure that we parsed up should be version 1. So it goes back, realizes this is version 2, then it'll go back and continue because we have a previous version. Then this would be, this other S is now version 0, the one that we put in last time. Then we go, right, our structure version is greater than this. So, you know, version 1 is greater than version 0. So it's going to be like, oh, there is a next version in the list. Make the next version point back to us. The next one is version 2. It's going to point back to this structure. Yep. Then we're going to point to the next version. So point to version 2. Then we're going to point back to version 0. And then version 2 is going to point back to version 1. And then if this is the root, we're going to update the tree, and it isn't. So that's good. Cool. That code is looking pretty good. Encoder database. So let's quickly do it such that they all show up chronologically now. So 0, 1, and 2. Hey, Lupo. Yeah, Africa is back. That's the summary. How are you doing? So this time it's gonna have version 0, and this would be version 1. And then it's going to insert it. Is this the root one? Yes, it is. Update the one in the hash table to point to us. So now we continue. Then this will be version 2. And then the one in the table should be version 1. Perfect. So now it's going to do it again, and then that will be the root one of the hash table. Cool. Right. So the version logic is doing pretty good. The parsing version logic in the database file is fine, and parsing the dev mode stuff is fine inside the encoder thing. So we can now put like hash dev upgrade or hash dev no upgrade in there, right? But we're not going to do that yet because we need to still plug in that logic. So that's what we're going to work on now. So we're going to the encode generator. We're going to find where we do the table merging. So quick overview of how it works is we parse the database file first, then we parse the encode file that the user edits, then we merge the two type tables, and then we save out the database file again, and then we code generate. We still haven't got code generation started yet, but that's the thing we'll be doing in the next set of streams actually. So this is one of the last features. Does your hair grow? It looks the same a few weeks ago. Yeah, my hair grows. I was going to get it cut soon, I think. It don't look the same a few weeks ago. Well, yeah, I get my hair cut like real short, and then I won't get it cut for a good few months. So I get like 2 on the sides, and I get like half off the top. It's getting quite long now. Going over my eyes. So I need to get the haircut soon. So we need to handle a few cases, but I think let's think about them. Dev mode X to no dev mode to nothing, right? We need to handle going from nothing to dev mode X, so some kind of dev mode, right? We then need to handle, well, maybe we don't need to handle them. But we need to think about it at least. Yeah, I just like don't really like getting my hair cut, and you know I have to go to town. You know, I just like staying at home. And what else? Yeah, that's about it really. You know, sometimes you get an interesting person to talk to, other times you don't. So yeah, like getting it done out of the way. So if we go from a dev mode to a non-dev mode, wait, we'll think about it the other way. Right, so you haven't got anything, and then you go into dev mode. For this, we must up the version number. And then for this one, we're going to remove, yeah, we just removed dev mode from the, there might be a dev mode directive maybe. Oh no, you're going to print out dev upgrade or whatever in the, yeah. So this will just simply remove the directive from database. And because it's been removed from the database, the next time you do it will upgrade the version, right? So maybe we can add another one where it's called dev mode amend. Dev mode amend or whatever. And if you do dev mode amend, you're able to edit the same one without changing the version number. But to be honest, you could just delete the structure from the database file. You know, you'll see it in the you'll literally see it in the version control system in your diff, so you could just delete it. So yeah, it's alright. So this one is upgraded to no upgrade. It's just gonna yeah, this is just gonna change the directive in the database file. So I think we also need to store I wanted to store the branch name, and maybe we should be able to store a hash of all of the fields or a hash of when we're in dev mode, we need to have the dev mode hash. So when we say serialize stuff out, we can put the dev mode hash inside inside the name of the file. So right, dev mode hash. We also want to store the branch name. So that needs to get serialized as well. So we'll do these things in here as well. Oh, Akraz, my friend, thank you so much for the continued support. Appreciate you, sir. How have you been? I do it myself nowadays. I reckon you should too. It seems like you're like me and want and you'll save money too. If you cut it short, it's not really too difficult. Yeah, it's true. Maybe I could. Yeah, because they do kind of cost, isn't it? It's like 15 quid now or more. You know, it's part of the reason why I do take time to do it as well. Save a bit of the monies. I remember when I was younger hearing people getting a haircut like every 2 weeks or every week. It's like, you know. Yeah, so I guess right, so I guess right, we'll fill in those fields in a bit, I guess. Let's just deal with the actual logic. Go into dev mode to not dev mode. So oh yeah, and whilst you're in dev mode, yeah, so at first you find the type in the database, you fish it out, right? You handle the dev mode stuff here. So effectively, all of this logic just boils down to a simple operation in the database, dev mode equal source enum dev mode, right? So whatever it is in the encoder file, we just copy over to there. That will write into the database file, it'll add it, it will remove it. But if destination dev mode is equal to dev mode, oh, what's the other one? Dev mode, dev mode none, I guess. Yeah, it's a good one. So if it's equal to none and source dev mode is not equal to dev mode none, then we have entered dev mode. So because of that, this is going to get the latest. This always gets the latest type with that name, and then there's a linked list going to the previous versions. So what you can do now is you need to make a clone of the enum and up the version. Quite easy. It's quite easy. So we should just be able to append. Yes, it's like this logic here, right? You append you get the enum index, you append a copy onto the end, and then you say found type Is there anything that's special about this one? Right, I guess you say new E. Deref new E is a copy of the source E. Found type enum index is equal to enum index. So we update it so that the hash table will point to the newest one first. To make it the newest one, we must also set upgrade, where is it? No, version to be equal to destination. No, it should be a copy of destination, isn't it? DST, yeah. Then we just up the version. So we do version plus equal 1. Nice. And voila. Then DST enum equal new. So we change the pointer to point to new enum instead of where I was pointing to before. And then we will override the dev mode. So that's basically the logic for handling transitions between dev mode and no dev mode. Maybe we should add another one for amending though. Oh no, amending will do the git thing. Yeah, we'll just do it manually, it's fine. So we've got to do this for structures. So we take that, and this is, we scroll down, this is where we merge the structures. So when we get the destination structure, we put this in, and we're just going to go ahead and make the necessary changes. Anything else enum related? Cool. So I think that's adjusted now. So we're saying structure. You're doing that dev mode thing, right? That's cool. So we've now done the thing where we can go in and out of dev mode, and it should, well, I won't be saving it to the file. We still need to do that. Let's do that quickly, then we'll handle relieving the error messages. So save encoder database. So we should, so we've been sticking the hash version there. We could do the dev mode thing. So we need the dev mode, and we'll need the branch name as well. We'll just do it separately. So if it's omitted, it'll be none. So we'll say if dev mode, and we'll just serialize it out. So to switch, there's currently two dev modes that we care about. Dev mode, so let's just get them all in there. Upgrade, no upgrade. So we're looking at simply just encoding something like a hash dev upgrade. So if you do multiple at the same time, that's also something that will get parsed up. That'll be okay. Not that fussed, to be honest. No upgrade. Yeah, so that'll get put in there. Nice, in the database now. So we'll do the same thing for an enum. So let's quickly drop that in there. Rightio. So that's cool. So that's been output into the file now, and it'll be parsed up. So let's go back to that merging thing. Now what we're going to want to do is relieve the error messages. So if the destination dev mode is, so all of these errors here, so I wonder what we do, right? So yeah, so this error message is fine. This one's saying that, hey, you've tried to use an enum, or you've tried to declare an enum with this name, but the name has already been declared under a different kind of type, so like a structure or something. So when we're trying to do the merge now, if the underlying type changes, can you change that in dev mode? Probably. Or if you change the enum underlying type in dev mode, what happens is a structure so if a structure is using it, yeah, if a structure's using it, it's fine because we're going to run an upgrade anyway. And the upgrade is going to the fact that one of the types has changed in the file means that you have to perform an upgrade. But that's interesting though. Because if I have proper structures that represent these, yeah, I wonder actually. There's something to think about. If you change the version of an enum or a structure, whatever it is, and it's been used in another structure, how do we handle that? Because if we're the way we're code genning could be affected. It would be quite annoying to have to up everything, right? By another version. So maybe we don't have actual data types exposed, like, we don't have past versions of data types code generated, maybe. Only the latest one. Something like that. And you have to access it with some functions, maybe. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, we've got to think about that. To do, how do we handle if a structure changes version and is used in another strut that hasn't? I don't think we should make it the other one change its version. That just sounds bloody annoying. We should be aware about that for code gen. Right, so back to here. So we should be able to change the underlying type basically. So what we want to say is, we want to skip that one. And then this does a bunch of other things like goes over all the values and basically looks for mismatches in all sorts of things. So I think we can just skip everything. Yeah. So we say if it's if we just say, right, if dst e dev mode equal, yeah, if you have one of these dev modes, just continue. Cool. So we should do the same thing for the strut as well. So just skip the error messages, I think. So we've got to be super careful though, because there could be a... We're copying over this hex thing here, you see? Yeah, so maybe we shouldn't do a flat continue. Oh no, but then the time when you run it. So while it's no, you'll need some of these changes. So if you have something continue, but the condition isn't met, does it just return or exit the method? Oh, if you continue, if you continue, it will do the test again, and then if it fails, it will just go to the end of the end of the branch, down here somewhere. Yeah, so it'll break out the loop. Hey there, Cat Pain, how you doing, sir? Do you know if the current version of Game Engine throws Vulkan validation errors when resizing a window? Oh, does it? Oh, interesting. I haven't checked that. Yeah, so I've not really done resize support because I haven't really needed it. I just do it to fix screen size for now. I was more interested in working on like rendering research and development rather than get my swap chain working perfectly. So I just did a fixed size. But yeah, that's something I do need to look into is getting a proper resize in. But yeah, thank you for that, Chris. Yeah, so it just opens it up at like nearly 1080p or 900p, I think. Yeah, and that's good enough. You know, on a 1080p screen, it'll fit in, and then on my 4K monitor, it's reasonable size. So that's good. Right, so I think we'll just say we'll do like an if not dev mode. I use tiling compositor and it always resizes the window. I remember those days. Yeah. Well, maybe you could put an exception in the tiling compositor. I don't know. Yeah, I should really do it at some point, but not until we get back to rendering, I guess. When we have an editor, though, it's going to be kind of probably needed. Screen resizing. I did completely forget, mind you, so it was good to be reminded. So right, so I've done it that way just so if we end up merging some of the properties over, it's done a little bit. It doesn't just. Yes, the encoder files added new values. Just yeah, okay, it's a good idea. Right, what happens if they remove any? So if you're in dev mode and they've removed some. Ah, this will still run. Beautiful. And that'll work for adding and removing. Nice. So that was a good change. Let's keep going. So for the structure one, when we do the error checking, I need to remove that, but we would like to say, well, if not kind of more than 64, that's still a fine error. If the type mismatches, that's all right. This merges types. So see, I'm wondering, I've not, it's not merging, if you make changes to the values, it's not merging the values over. So maybe we should do explicit dev mode things. Maybe we say if dev mode. The encoder file, say we're just saying, just use a source. / removing them. Yeah, so just copy the pointers over in dev mode, right? And that should just save. That'll just accept any change. And maybe we should do the same for the structure field one actually. I think it's alright. Yeah. So maybe we'll have this continue thing. And now thinking that's a good idea. So what should we do? So if you make changes to the structure, we should accept every single, we should copy we should probably do a similar thing to what we did in the enum. But we need to merge the types. So I think because the types could end up having a structure which will point to the wrong type table, so we need to like merge the type over. And then this will copy over the isHex stuff, the isRemoved stuff. Which will be set to false. Yeah. I think this will work. Right. So you go over all the fields now, and you want to perform a merge. See, the thing is about this merge, we just make sure the types are equal. But now we want to actually do a merge. And make sure it's updated. Go over all the structure fields. Destination, structure field, type. I think that's all we need to do. Because the rest of it, yeah, just copy it over. Cool. I think that's the dev mode thing done now. So we should be able to take it for a spin. So let's test it all out and make sure it works, right? We should be able to put stuff into dev mode. The version number should go up. We should be able to change everything, get rid of dev mode, and then witness a version being incremented, right? That'd be pretty cool. So I think let's just give it a run and see what happens. Oh, we hit a trap. Cool, so that ran successfully. Let's go to the encode file a sec. What have we got in here? So we haven't got any dev mode things. So let's go to the database file. So the database file has version 012, right? So I guess what we can do, let's do two of them at the same time. We're gonna we're going to dev mode ent type, and we're going to dev mode ent encode. And then, so that should make a version 3 here, and it should make a version 1 for this one. Right, so let's give that a go. So it's dev mode upgrade, and we're going to no upgrade this one. Now, if we no upgrade that one, we need to make sure that we leave a no upgrade on the... Yeah, there's something slightly missing. If we do an upgrade, we need to store in the strut the fact that this thing doesn't have an upgrade. So we need a Boolean in it to say Hmm. Yeah, let's have a think about the upgrade things for a minute. You know what? We'll do that next. Let's just test out the code we've written, because we've written quite a bit of code to test it out. So in the encode file, I've added no upgrade at the top and then upgrade here. So this should get a version 3. This should get a version 1. So we run it, see what happens. Right, so it ran successfully. Let's have a look. So we go to the encode database, do a reload. Looky here, we've got ourselves a version 1, no upgrade. And we've got ourselves a version... Oh, version 3, here we go. So it wasn't in the same order. You know, it wasn't all clustered together. Maybe we could rewrite the save code to make it such that the versions get written in a better order, maybe. That would probably be nice. But anyway, you know, maybe we could... sorting would be a bit odd. Well, yeah, maybe we could do a sort based on name and version or something. I don't know. Yeah, so we've got a version 3 now, and it's in dev mode upgrade. Cool. So if we... Now we should be able to make changes without a problem. So we should be able to remove pig, we should be able to change person and all that. So we should be able to like remove all these and make them like linear or something like that. You know, and we'll just remove one, for instance. We've removed cow. Cow's been removed. And then this new entity one, we're deleting all of this stuff here. Just deleted it. So if I give it a run, there's no errors that popped up. If I check the database file, do a reload, you'll notice that the encode type version 0 has stayed the same, but version 1 with no upgrade has changed and got its own. You know, it's not got cow and it's now linear, right? And this is the benefit of doing an enum, a version of enum, is so you can make things linear again and remove the holes. And you could choose to optionally have an upgrade or not, depending if it makes sense. So if you save that to a file, you're probably going to want to have upgrade support. But if it goes over the network, probably not. And we'll keep the past ones here as well. But yeah, that's cool. I wonder why this one went here. Oh, because it's an enum. That's why. Yeah, I think I really might want to make those ordered because it's just much better. So anyway, version 3. Yeah, it's remove the fields. Good. And I can put whatever I want back in there as well. I can keep making those changes. So that's nice. Should I put... I should test out by putting a structure in there or something. I haven't got another structure though. Right, so let's add another strut. So what happens if it starts off in dev mode? Right, if I make a test and I start this one off in dev mode. What happens, right? Should be able to start something off in dev mode. That's gonna crash, right? It ran. Version 0, dev mode, upgrade. Nice. Because it's version 0 though, we can say it doesn't need to generate an actual upgrade. That's cool. That worked out alright. My problem is though, it's not declared in the right order. When you parse it, you know, if I was to put this here, test, it's now not going to parse the database file. It'll generate it the first time. Now run it again, it won't parse it. Ooh. It parsed it. Oh, that might have been called a other type. That's quite error prone, isn't it? Yeah, I think we need to jot down all of the other types that we get. And put those in the identifier to type map. Yeah, so I guess we wanted to say, just copy paste this. Type. I think it's got to be zeroed. No, I don't think it does. Type kind other. So these ones are that are not declared in the encoder file, but they're just found. Yeah, we want to say like, we'll put them in that table. So if new, put it in there. So what we're trying to use it, when we find a field, we'll just throw it in there. We don't necessarily care if it's new or not, I think. So yeah, so when we do a structure field, and we parse the type, we just chuck it in there. if structure type kind equals type kind other, type table identifier. Oh. I just realized I didn't need that new function. We just needed to call insert. Type other cool. So let's give that a go. That should make it so there's an error because it will populate the table. The next time it passes the structure, it'll be like, there's something already in here with a different kind. Yeah, duplicate strut identifier test. Not really the best name. Or the best error message. So in this case, because it's in the database file, it's doing it this way. This should never really happen though. But yeah, we need to... Yeah, maybe we should always do a find first and we can handle stuff like this explicitly. We could say, you know, this already gets done in the merge code, really. At the top here. Yeah, maybe we should make this be very similar. So I think we should do a find first. If the type exists and we find it, and this type of code. So you put the structure in there. And this error is going to be like structure identifier is in the database as this. Yeah. But I guess we should have a special case. This gets a bit funky, to be honest. Having this other type gets really weird. Maybe we should have a different type declaration called external or something, where it's just known outside rather than being implicitly inserted into the type table. It just seems a bit too crazy. We could have But he gets really away from C at this point. The more things we do like this. Yeah, so if this thing is declared, like scale is not declared, for instance, maybe what we do is we so the type is external to the system. Maybe these things don't, no, maybe we don't have stuff that's external to the system. Maybe they've all got to come through here. They've all got to be declared in here. So maybe the other type goes away. So if they all get declared through this, and I guess we'll have some built-ins, right? Like our vector types and maybe some of our matrix types, those might be built in. Or maybe we just declare them in here. Yeah, maybe we declare them in here. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think we're going to remove the other type. That makes sense. Right, that way we can just... This other type, we should be able to remove that now. Right, that makes a ton of sense. What is this? Pause. Unrecognized type. Unrecognized type name. And this can just return a zeroed. Right, I should never reach there, it will exit here. Cool. Keep going, other. That's gone. Right, so other's now been removed from the whole thing, so we give it a run. Unrecognized type name. Cool, unrecognized type name, and then it's done our vector type here. Interesting. Right, so we've got to get built-in vectors, we've got to get built-in maybe matrices. There's matrix types that we've got. That should be possible. Yeah. And then everything will be declared through the system, and then we should be able to catch. Yeah, so my concern is, though, in the database file, the way it's putting these in is they're not going to be declared in order anymore, like they are in the encode file, which is quite problematic because we parse it top down. So so we go over all the... Oh, my laptop just died. So the way we merge the files is we go over all the types in the source file, and then go over all the types in the database file, and try and find one which matches in a hash table, basically. And we're merging the source into the one that it finds in the database file, so that they get retained in the order, right? And if they're not in the database, they get appended to the end of the file. So is that okay? Well, no, because we changed. The case where it's a problem is that we've got this in dev mode, and we changed this one to have test in it, which was a new type that we added after we put this into dev mode. Right. So maybe... Yeah, that's a bit of a weird problem. So like my dream of like sorting them and putting in like an order where it's like, oh, we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? All in an order, can't really be fulfilled. Well, it can. You've got to put this one up here. So realistically, right, we could just write a dependency, like just write a recursive function that just inserts it into a new array and then just goes over that array and serializes it, and then it will be in the right order. That doesn't sound too hard. It doesn't sound like a lot of code either. Yeah, I think that's sensible. We can definitely do that, I think. Let's quickly jam that out. Although we can't, because we've got these damn things that we've changed, isn't it? We don't have a U32 type anymore. Right, so I guess we'll write this down in the to-do. So let's go to Encoder Gen. We've got a few things to do now. We need to add support for built-in types, built-in vector types, and matrix/transform types. We also need to add support for save encode database needs to recursively... So we need to build a new array. Build a new array such that types are declared in the right order. This can be done recursively in a simple way. Yep. So that'll solve our problem where we can accidentally put stuff in the wrong order, and we should be able to put stuff in version. Wait, should we? Yeah, we should be able to put stuff kind of in version order, but also it won't always be in version order, but it'll be fine. Yeah, that's all right. Cool, so we should be able to do that. And then after that, I guess we can get to code genning. So we've got to sort out these issues basically in the next stream. I'm not sure about... Yeah, so we'll sort out as many of these issues as possible next stream. And we've still got to do the branch, put the branch name in there. How do we handle no upgrade? I actually need to think about that branch problem again one more time. And we won't probably implement it, but we'll implement the bare minimum such that if we need to implement it in the future, we can get it to work properly with the data we've already made. Yeah, so we need to still encode, save encode out the branch name, and also we need to create this dev mode hash by hashing the full type. Where do we need this? This will be given out to this will be in the code generator somewhere. Dev mode hash. Hash the full enum /strut /table and their fields /values. So you change any of the things about that structure, it will get a different hash. So when we sort of save out files with this in development mode version of a structure, we'll be able to test out the upgrade script, and we'll be able to test out the upgrade script and saving it and loading the new one back in. Cool. Right, that was pretty decent. So we'll be carrying on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. GMT +1, and then Sunday at 6 p.m. GMT +1, and that's when we'll get started on the code generation side of things. So we'll just be going over all that type information and generating files which will encode out to text and binary, and then doing a packed in-memory version as well. That'd be the bring it all full circle then. That'd be pretty cool. Let's find someone to raid. Oh. Let's raid Lost Mars. Right, thank you for coming, everyone. I'll see you all in a future one. Yeah, I hope you have a good Wednesday. I'll see you all hopefully on Thursday. Right. Catch you later. Bye-bye.